We scholars studying the internet in different geographies appreciate the aim behind this year's conference theme of foregrounding knowledge that academia has rendered as secondary or irrelevant. However, we would also like to acknowledge who cannot be in the room today. We must remember the material realities that determine who can be in this room. AIR is a very expensive conference in comparison to many others. Being able to pay the registration fee is already a privilege. In addition to the international travel costs, it becomes almost impossible for many people in the geographical global south, but also for many colleagues dealing with precarious job positions and shrinking funding in universities all over the world currently. We know that these conditions of global inequality are further worsened by visa requirements and travel restrictions. Allowing the legacies of colonization to persist or upholding a commitment to a decolonizing agenda manifests not only in how we design internet research or what we study, but in how we think about participation in our debates and conversations about internet research. Who gets to have a voice and who does not? The last 2 years of the pandemic enabled something akin to an open lab of alternatives to organize meetings in online and hybrid formats. While there is now an opportunity to resume in-person meetings, it would be unjust to abandon the opportunity to gather with a more diverse community through the use of online tools. Beyond this, and consistent with a decolonial stance, there is the obvious ecological and environmental costs vis-a-vis climate change of resuming in-person participation at conferences, given the carbon footprint associated with international travel. More broadly, we see this year's theme as an opportunity to call into question some of the basic tenets that have kept academic conferences from including a more diverse set of knowledges. For example, what formats are allowed? Does only academia produce valuable knowledge? What can be done to include work done in other languages? How to make sure that the composition of the executive committee represents the majority and not the minority of the world? We understand that some of these questions have already been addressed by AIR, but hope that the theme of decolonizing the internet might prompt the generation of a concrete and long-term action plan. Our statement should not discourage the collective effort of establishing and maintaining such kind of organizations, but we must remember that precarity is a general rule in academia currently, limiting the possibilities of those who would like to join and be part of this kind of association, but cannot afford to do so. A decolonial agenda should be at the heart of our efforts to examine privilege, often underpinned by colonial legacies, in our associational and networking practices. Decolonization is a decision, and we are called upon to be brave and make it work.